killed in 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Friday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
And this Friday morning, maybe some sunshine early, too, huh?
Yeah, sunshine early, and the latest data coming in shows that this day might not be near of a washout as we expected.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is some great news for those of you having early plans for this Father's Day weekend. Let's take a live look outside right now in downtown Utica. We had some overnight thunderstorms and scattered showers, so the roads are a bit damp, but not a whole lot of rainfall currently taking place across our local area. So around the northeast, temperatures around the 60s and 70s. Zooming in the upstate New York region, 60s across the Mohawk Valley, 70 out in Rochester, and then a lot more locally, 63 Westmoreland, 65 Little Falls. To the south, temperatures in the 60s here in the southern valleys. And the radar at this point quieting down, still some downpours just exiting Oneonta in southeastern Otsego County. In the next 12 hours, again, as I mentioned, data has come in at least for the past 12 or so hours, indicating that the front arriving today is transferring all that energy to another front south, meaning that we're looking at a nicer day with temperatures in the 70s, decreasing humidity, and then potentially one of the best weekends we'll have all year long. We'll talk about that weekend forecast and potential heat wave next week straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. New Hartford police have...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday. Time now for the Munson CommuteCast, getting you set to head out the door for our final day of this work week. And first off, taking a live look along the arterial early this morning. Traffic, of course, pretty low as of this point, in clouds out in the distance. And a live look at our traffic tracker this morning. I want to clarify our traffic alert that is set in between Ilion and Mohawk for the next few weeks. It is only between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. they'll be doing paving. So if you are driving out early this morning before 6 a.m., the road is not closed. But between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., you must use the signed detour. So again, this is only for a few weeks or until they finish early, and then they'll be working on another part of 5S in just a short bit. But again, same thing for Route 20. This one is permanently closed for at least the next few weeks as they work along the road there on Route 20. And again, the detour is Route 51, Route 28, and Jordanville Road. But regardless, today, no impacts really expected for travel. Damp roads early this morning, temperatures in the 60s, climbing into the 70s by this afternoon, with most of those rain showers sticking south and east of central New York. But we're tracking what we can expect for the rest of the day and into the weekend, and that full forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It's estimated that more than 8...
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday. Father's Day weekend is almost here, and as we mentioned over the past few days, we were tracking rain showers today, but the good news is it's trending more and more dry. And the reason why in just a second. A live look at downtown Utica right now. A few clouds in the sky, roads a bit damp, but the downpours are over and done with. They have exited our region to the south and to the east. Currently 64 with partly cloudy skies, humid conditions, but the humidity will gradually drop throughout the day today. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. But take a look at these rain chances right here. Nearly non-existent for the second half of the day today. And this is due to multiple fronts and a whole lot of energy transfer in the atmosphere. A live look at the radar. Again, mostly dry, a few patchy, drizzly showers here and there. Now, we've got two fronts, if you can spot them on the radar right now. We've got this one just moving into the Albany area, shifting farther and farther east, but a secondary one just over Lake Ontario. And this is part of the same system, just two separate fronts. And what this will do is this will eventually split off and transfer most of the energy from the one that is expected to bring us rain showers today to the one in front, bringing rain showers south of us. But regardless, we're talking about sunshine, beautiful weather for Father's Day weekend, 5 out of 5 stars for both days. Just absolutely gorgeous weather to spend time outside and maybe do some cookouts. But again, following this weekend, we're talking about a heat wave, and this one could last from Tuesday on to roughly Friday, maybe even a little bit longer, as some data indicates it going until Sunday. But for now, that's still well over a week away. We're only going to stick to our 7-day forecast for now, which of course calls for high heat and humidity by next week. But as I mentioned, we got a strengthening front south of us, weakening front north of us, and this front right here is what was expected to bring us rain today, but it is going to primarily shift south. So what does that mean for us on our Skycast? Well, how about this? A few spotty showers this morning. It strengthened south, but then sunshine across the board throughout the afternoon and evening. A few passes of clouds, maybe a stray thunderstorm, but that's really about it. And then nice weather moves in as we head into the weekend. And so your 7-day forecast, we got beautiful weather for Father's Day weekend. Nice on Monday, although a little bit warmer. And then here comes the heat wave. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, highs in the 90s. Dew points high enough to where the feels like temperature could be approaching the mid to upper 90s, which basically means, in plain English, it's going to be very hot, Gary.
Yeah, definition of a heat wave right
Yes.
there. Eric, thanks. Still ahead on Sunrise. Why some
2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a big weekend ahead, Father's Day weekend, and it's looking
very, very nice. And I'm so excited for this forecast because we've waited so long for at least having the weather cooperate with an event, or at least a weekend with a lot of events, graduation parties, Father's Day, everything. Now, Oneonta right now, it's cloudy, a little misty as rain showers are departing out to the east, but that's not the tale of what we'll expect for most of the day today. It's trending dry, and by dry, I mean a much more dry day here in central New York. Temperatures all around the Northeast in the 60s early this morning. Same thing zooming in upstate New York. And then, of course, in the central New York region, 60s in the Mohawk Valley, North Country, as well as the southern valleys. And so, radar right now, relatively quiet, patches of mist and drizzle here and there. I would say the downpour is still exiting our region to the south and to the east. We got a trailing cold front arriving today, but it's expected to continue to weaken and transfer its rain showers south of us, which means that most of central New York will be entirely dry today. Stray shower possible, obviously, but we've got no rainfall expected for this Father's Day weekend. But on top of that, we'll see lots of summertime heat and humidity arrive by next week. We'll talk about that in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. With the presidential election.
Welcome back. We have a viewer-submitted photo taken in Ilion for our final photo of the day this work week, and this one is showcasing the corn crop and how quickly it has grown since May 27th. And here's a look of the corn right there in Ilion. And I always remember the saying, knee high by the 4th of July. I think that the corn is on pace for that with the rainy early spring and then the warmer temperatures we're expected to see by next week. And hopefully we get enough rainfall. I think we've entered territory of maybe not seeing enough rainfall over the past few weeks to make up for the sunshine, but we'll see as the days get closer. If you want to send a photo like this one, send it to the WKTV.com/weather/pics. We had a poll we issued this week on Facebook, and this one was asking you all, what are your plans for Father's Day weekend? And a lot of you, of course, said cookout. A lot of you were talking about other plans, whether just relaxing with family or just even going to, for example, graduation parties. Restaurants and travel were the lower percentage, and I think for me, of course, it's Father's Day, so Father's Day cookout with the family. That's what I have on tap. Gary?
Thank you. The House Ways and Means Committee held a hearing on Thursday about anti-Semitism on
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. This Friday is shaping up to be a lot nicer than we expected earlier this week. And we'll get to why in just a moment. But first, let's talk about this morning. A live look outside from our camera on the Nexus Center. Gorgeous sunrise out in the distance. A few clouds in the sky. Roads a little damp from the overnight rain. But that's not the tale of what we can expect throughout most of the day today. Currently 64 degrees, partly cloudy, humid conditions at dew points in the low 60s. And what we can expect today, well, highs approaching the upper 70s. In fact, pretty much right around average for mid-June standards. But as we mentioned over the past few days, this was looking like a washout. Well, things have changed, and for the better. Mainly dry, and the reason why takes place with dynamics in the atmosphere. So, a live look at the radar at this point, a few spotty rain showers and patchy drizzle. Otherwise, most of central New York is waking up rain-free. We've got two fronts on the radar right now. This front out near Albany and this one over Lake Ontario. And zooming out, you can see that they're both part of the same system. Low pressure up north, dragging these cold fronts. But this one right here is weakening and transferring energy to this one to the south. Now, this one to the south will be missing most of central New York entirely. This one could produce potentially some stronger wind gusts and downpours south of central New York. While here locally, this front pretty much produces nearly zero rainfall. But speaking of zero rainfall, how about zero rainfall for this entire weekend? Gorgeous conditions, 70s, low humidity, lots of sunshine. I mentioned it on Wednesday, and I'm still sticking to it. 5 stars both days, just absolutely gorgeous weather. You couldn't ask for a better Father's Day weekend forecast. But following Father's Day weekend, we'll see a warm-up, and a big one, with temperatures soaring into the 90s, heat or feels like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, and this could extend for most of the work week next week. But for now, comfortable temperatures in the 70s. Most of us are remaining entirely dry, some sunshine peeking out as well. And then overnight tonight, clear skies, maybe some patchy fog developing, but quickly coming to an end with highs approaching the upper 60s to low 70s by tomorrow. In your 7-day forecast, again, we've got nice weather the next few days, and then here comes that heat wave next week. And we have alert day icons on those days as a reminder for those who have health issues that this could be a concern with higher temperatures and higher humidity. You want to make sure you have those ACs on.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
And our Friday shaping up not too bad, you were saying.
Yes, we were thinking earlier in the week it'd be more of a washout, but things have trended a lot nicer.
Right.
And I'm so excited for that, too, because it sets the stage for not only a great Friday, but a great weekend ahead. So let's take a look outside right now. Again, happy Flag Day, everyone. We decided to show a nice view of Main Street in Cooperstown with the beautiful American flag waving in the background. And as we mentioned, it's a damp start early this morning, temperatures in the 60s, but will gradually dry out as the afternoon continues on, and rain chances pretty much almost non-existent for most of central New York. Around the Northeast, 60s, 70s heading down to the Philadelphia region. Zooming into the upstate New York area, 66 Rome, 66 Hamilton. A few passing clouds, but otherwise mainly dry. And then around central New York, pretty much all of central New York remaining in the 60s early this morning. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We have a few spotty showers indicated right here with some light greens, but for the most of us, we are entirely dry, and we'll expect to see mainly dry conditions throughout the day today, with the exception of a passing shower here or there. But again, today, 70s, lowering humidity, and we've got a nice weekend on tap with potential for a heat wave by next week. We'll talk about that in that forecast in the minutes ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. New Hartford police have
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back at 6:13. Happy Friday morning, everyone. We are taking a look at what you can expect at the door this morning on your Munson Commute Cast. And first off, a live look at the arterial early this morning. Things are shaping up pretty dry with the rain showers overnight coming to an end and the damp roads also drying out once more. Of course, traffic slowly picking up. And in a live look at our traffic tracker early this morning, I want to clarify some details with the 5S closure for this morning. Started at 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. Every day, those are the hours they work. So before then, if you're traveling 5 a.m., 4 a.m., or after 7 p.m., 8 p.m., the westbound lanes are not closed. But when you are working during these hours, you have to use this sign at detour. They're working on this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they are not working on this road on Sunday. So again, the traffic closure is for the next few weeks, but only for certain times of the day. Route 20 still looking to be closed at this point. We'll let you know, of course, when the road is back open once more. Of course, here's that detour post behind me right there. But again, today, temperatures starting out in the 60s with some spotty showers coming to an end and sunshine moving in with highs approaching the 70s. We'll talk about, of course, what we can expect for Father's Day weekend and the potential heat wave next week straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It is estimated.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. The time now is 6:20, and we are starting out the day with some lingering clouds, patchy light rain showers. We'll take a live look at Oneonta right now because it was overcast earlier on, but the sun is just starting to peek out behind the cloud cover. Give it a few seconds right here because you can start to see the rays arriving on the camera. And this morning, it's in the 60s. It's not too bad after some overnight rain showers and embedded thunderstorms. And temperatures in the Mohawk Valley, same story. Upper 60s, humid as well. Dew points in the low 60s. And today, we'll climb into the mid to upper 70s, right around average for this time of year for mid-June. But something that we're changing in the forecast. We mentioned the past few days we could be seeing a washout today, but that is changing and for the better. We've got decreasing rain chances throughout the entire afternoon, not looking anywhere near close to a washout, and I'll explain why in just a second. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2, a live radar. We got a few spotty light rain showers here and there. Again, today's not entirely dry, but we're not talking about rain showers all day long. And the reason why is we got a front out to the west, or the east I should say, and a front out to the northwest. Zooming out, this is all part of the same system. Now, this front is going to strengthen and steal energy from this trailing cold front. This is the one we were monitoring over the past few days that could produce rain showers, but the transfer is happening faster, and most of the rain will actually fall along this front instead, missing most of central New York. But regardless of the weather today, it's going to dry out by tonight, and we've got an absolutely fantastic weekend for Father's Day weekend. Sunshine both days, 70s, 5-star ratings for both Saturday and Sunday. And the temperatures are comfortable for now, but as we head into next week, we're expecting a heat wave moving into our local area. High temperatures climbing into the 90s, feels like conditions approaching the mid to upper 90s. So heads up as we head into next week. For now though, 60s and 70s. Rain showers, you can see here, primarily pushing through parts of the Otsego County area. Then, mainly sunny skies, temperatures in the 70s. Following that, we'll see drying out conditions overnight with lows falling down into the low 50s. And then a beautiful day on tap for Saturday. 7-day forecast. Father's Day, absolutely gorgeous. Warming up on Monday, but you can see here, alert days Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. For the risk of the high heat. A reminder that heat is the deadliest cause or weather cause in the U.S. and in the world. So a reminder that anytime we have 90s and high humidity, it's always good to play it safe when it comes to making sure people who have health concerns are aware. Gary?
Definitely 3 alert days in a row. Boy, that's going to be something.
Very hot.
Yeah. MVCC's Thinkubator is
Friday of 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Flag Day. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And not a bad Flag Day after all, right?
Yeah, we were expecting earlier on this week for it to be more of a washout, but today, shaping up not too bad. Sunshine, lowering humidity throughout the day. It is humid to start, though. Let's take a look at what's going on out there early this morning. Again, live look in Cooperstown, damp roads, rain showers have pushed through overnight, but we're gradually drying out. 66 in Cooperstown, across the northeast. Still most of the northeast in the 60s. Same thing for Mohawk Valley and the upstate New York region, as well as central New York in the 60s. Same thing for the southern valleys. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We've got two systems pushing through central New York early this morning. If you can spot them, we've got a cold front out to the east and another cold front out to the west. Now, this western front will actually transfer a lot of its energy out east, with a lot of these rain showers missing most of central New York. So instead of a complete washout, we're talking about sunshine and cooling, at least lowering humidity and temperatures in the 70s. We're talking about what we can expect for Father's Day weekend, and again, that potential heat wave next week in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. With the presidential election fast.
Welcome back on this Friday morning on Flag Day, and we are showing our final photo of the day for this work week, and this one is one submitted by a viewer in Ilion of the corn crop. And I wanted to emphasize this because you can see just how quick the corn is growing from the 27th to now, and I expect it to continue to grow fairly quickly with the warmer temperatures and sunshine we'll be seeing over the next few days. The only concern is that we might be seeing not too much in terms of rain, but hopefully we'll get a few more rain chances heading into the end of next week, with that heat wave producing maybe some pop-up thunderstorms here and there. If you want to submit a photo like this one, send a link on top of your screen, wktv.com/weather/pics. Now, we usually do our poll of the week, and this one, I asked a question of what is everyone planning on doing for Father's Day weekend, and the majority said they would be going out to do some cookouts outside, and again, great weather for that cookout on Sunday. Majority, or the second majority, said other plans such as doing parties, hanging out with family inside, or in some cases going to a restaurant or just traveling. So again, if you are planning on doing a cookout like most of us here in central New York are, weather's looking to cooperate big time. Gary?
That is good news for everyone, that's for sure. Eric, thanks. The House
Well, New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Flag Day. Today is shaping out to be a lot nicer than we expected earlier on in the work week. A live look at Oneonta, morning clouds, some faded sunshine, a beautiful shot in the backdrop right there. And temperatures across pretty much all of central New York in the 60s, with humid conditions, dew points also in the 60s. And throughout the day, we'll climb into the mid to upper 70s. But something that is changing is our forecast for the rain showers. Nearly non-existent by the afternoon. Now, we're not going to be entirely dry, but with some spots seeing a spotty shower, but most of central New York will be relatively rain-free. Now, a live look at the radar. We've got a few patches of light rain showers here and there. We've got a front out to the east and a front to the northwest. And that's important because, as you were expecting in the past few days, this cold front would sweep through and bring rain showers. But it's actually weakening and forming a stronger one out to the south and to the east. And what that's going to do is that's going to produce more of those rain showers south and east of central New York. So even though the rain is still coming, it's just missing us for the most part. Well, with the weekend, it's actually shaping up to be pretty nice as well. Temperatures in the 70s, low humidity, plenty of sunshine. Haven't changed the forecast at all since Wednesday. 5 stars both days of the weekend. And again, this morning we're tracking the passing of a cold front. This will slowly erode the humidity today. You'll actually feel a lot more comfortable this evening. Temperatures, of course, in the 70s, cooling back down overnight into the low 50s. Then by tomorrow, low humidity, lots of sunshine. Overall, pretty beautiful day, and that nice weather will continue as we head into the weekend. Your 7-day forecast, great Father's Day. Monday, warming up a little bit, highs in the 80s, and then here comes a heat wave by next week. Temperatures in the 90s with high humidity as well. Alert days due to the potential for those of you who are outside dealing with the high heat and humidity. It is very dangerous when it gets to the mid to upper 90s. Gary?
Definitely paying attention to that early next week for sure.
Yeah.
Eric, thanks. Now to Florida, where many residents there continue to recover after record-breaking rain over the last 2 days. NBC's Marissa Parra has more now from South Florida.
Neighborhoods in South Florida underwater.
You need a ride? You sure?
Rescue crews called to help stranded neighbors.
We have about 6 inches of water inside the house.
The aftermath of a deluge of record-breaking rain slamming the Sunshine State. Now, 2 deaths reported after a car lost control on wet roads in Collier County.
This is how high the water was yesterday.
Exactly.
From Florida's west coast
because it's flooded everywhere.
to North Miami.
I got nowhere to go, so I'm like, I'm lost for words.
Miami-Dade and 4 other counties under a state of emergency as millions face flood risk across the state.
And we are working around the clock to protect our residents and our businesses.
The storm system creating a swath of travel nightmares. Hundreds of flights delayed or canceled. Overnight, rising waters temporarily shutting down part of I-95.
Street after street in South Florida looks exactly like this one. Cars stalled out in the middle, homes flooded, leaving neighbors wondering what happens next.
Abandoned vehicles littering roads and parking lots as parts of southern Florida saw 10 to 20 inches of rainfall over 2 days, comparable to hurricane totals. The ground now saturated and vulnerable.
What are you going to do?
What I'm going to do, I have no choice. I stay here or go to the hotel.
And even more rain in the forecast for a waterlogged Florida. Marissa Parra, NBC News, North Miami.
Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, it's turning out to be quite the flag day today.
Yeah, that's right. Warming up, temperatures in the 70s, plenty of sunshine, a few mixed clouds here and there, but overall, not too bad of a day. Even nicer weekend is expected. A lot of folks have a busy weekend, of course, it being Father's Day, and a lot of, I would say, some graduation ceremonies people were mentioning too as well. Let's take a look at what's going on out there this afternoon. First, a live look in Cooperstown. We've got, of course, temperatures in the 70s. Humidity still notable, but it will continue to decrease throughout the afternoon and the evening. Around the Northeast, 70s, 80s down in Philadelphia, 70s in the upstate New York region, 60s up at Saranac Lake, and more locally, 70s in the Mohawk Valley, North Country, and even Southern Valleys. 81, the current high temperature so far in Sherburne this afternoon. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are quiet and dry because the rainfall we mentioned is about a few miles south of us, south of Binghamton along the, I would say, northern Pennsylvania border, right along the coast heading into Massachusetts and Connecticut. But for now, again, plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the 70s. By tonight, mostly clear skies, lows falling down into the 50s, but we got a beautiful weekend on tap. We'll talk about that, plus the latest details in the potential heat wave next week, straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. G7 leaders are holding their...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Happy Flag Day. Happy Friday to everyone. We are tracking sunshine, or at least faded sunshine, and temperatures in the 70s across the area. A live look at downtown Utica right now. Gorgeous blue skies in the backdrop. 75 degrees. Dew point slowly lowering. The winds, however, still a bit notable at 14 miles per hour. So factoring all that in, it does still feel like 75 out. And the humidity will only slowly lower heading into this evening and tonight. In a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, things are quiet and dry at this point because we are in between two fronts. Now, we mentioned this morning that today has trended much more dry because this front right here, weakening, transferring its energy to a front south of us, meaning that we're missing almost all of that rainfall we were expecting a few days ago. So this is good news regarding the forecast for today. It means a lot more sunshine and a bit less of a washout with temperatures in the 70s and lowering humidity as we cool down into the 60s overnight tonight. So if you're planning on doing some cookouts for the next few days for Father's Day, I would say again, yes for tomorrow and for Sunday. Just absolutely gorgeous weather. Of course, obviously with Father's Day on Sunday, that would be your go-to day, and I would definitely agree with it as well. Now, here's a graphic I want to explain a little bit since I have the time to. It basically has to do with the thickness of the atmosphere. Now, in basic science class, maybe you have learned how cooler air, or at least cooler things, are more dense than warmer things. And we use that to measure how warm it could get in the atmosphere. Well, this is a signal we don't see too often, is the thickness of the atmosphere basically means how warm it's going to get. Very warm heading into next week. And this is Wednesday. And this stretch could last for, I would say, beyond 3 to 4 days heading into next week. And not only are we seeing it in one model, we're seeing it from another model coming in as well. So there's multiple signals coming in that verify that we're going to see a huge warm-up next week, and this could extend beyond just a couple of days. But for now, before we get to all that heat and humidity, enjoy the beautiful weather the next few days. Temperatures in the 70s today, a mix of some sun and clouds. Then tonight, looking pretty quiet with lows falling down to the 50s. 70s tomorrow, north wind, a little breezy, but then that humidity is low. It's going to be absolutely beautiful out. Same thing for Sunday, although with much less winds and highs approaching the mid to upper 70s. And so for today, highs 76, partly cloudy skies. Tonight, looking overnight lows falling down into the 50s. Your 7-day forecast. Warming up Monday, then we've got 90s. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, hazy, hot, and humid. Potential for an isolated thunderstorm both of those days, by the way. And the heat is likely to continue beyond Thursday into Friday and maybe even next weekend. So it's going to be several days of very hot weather. Make sure your ACs are in and just prepare for the heat.
Yeah, could be dangerous.
Yes.
That's for sure. Eric, thanks. Well, our next story takes us to Brockport. Welcome back, meteorologist Eric Gage joining us to start this half hour because it is such a huge weekend and weather plays a big part in all of those events. And the good news, great weather all weekend, right?
Yes, great weather for Father's Day festivities. I want to say, of course, happy Father's Day to my dad, who's probably not watching right now, he's at work, but my grandpa, who may be watching as well. Happy Father's Day. And not only that, but to all the hardworking fathers out there as well. And I feel like my gift to you all is going to be a great weekend. I know we can't control the weather, but maybe I can try to get a little bit of the credit because I'll try to take the blame when the weather is bad on holidays like this. But Oneonta, live shot right there. Some clouds, faded sunshine in the backdrop. But temperatures so far are hovering in the 70s, so it's a very nice afternoon. Still a tad bit muggy, but the humidity will gradually decrease as we approach this evening. Radar is pretty quiet and dry. Again, we were mentioning the past few days widespread rain today, but it's about a few hundred miles south of us. So yes, we incorrectly forecasted today, but if we were just a few miles more south, we'd be talking a bit more about a washout compared to plenty of sunshine. Local temperatures across central New York in the 70s so far, approaching near 80 in Little Falls, and to the south, 80 degrees in Sherburne, 76 Cooperstown, and 71 in Skenevis. And next 12 hours, upper 70s, some spots, in my opinion, could reach the low 80s. Then following that, we will clear out tonight with lows falling down into the 50s before we're tracking a beautiful Father's Day weekend. Now, following the weekend, we could see a heat wave, an extended heat wave. And we'll talk a bit about more of that in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. An inmate who escaped from a
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. The time now is 12:41, and we are tracking plenty of sunshine and warm temperatures across the region. A live look outside at downtown Utica. Faded sun with a mix of, you can see in the backdrop, clouds and blue skies. And temperatures in the 70s, 75 in Rome. Dew point still a bit notable, so the air is a little muggy, but the humidity will decrease throughout the day and overnight. And of course, wind speeds a little breezy, around 14 miles per hour. In a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are all quiet and dry across central New York for now. Rain showers still remaining mainly south and east of our local area. And as we mentioned this morning, as well as earlier on in the broadcast, we have that front arriving from the northwest, but it's weakening and transferring its energy south, meaning that areas south and east of central New York are seeing a bit of a washout, while here locally remaining mainly dry. And that'll be the case for most this afternoon and this evening, with temperatures hovering in the upper 70s to near low 80s, so right around typical mid-June weather. And following this, we'll clear out and dry out tonight, with lows falling down into the low 60s to upper 50s. In fact, great weather for doing some grilling the next few days. Today, still a little bit humid, and we can't route a stray passing isolated shower. But what we're not tracking is rainfall at all for tomorrow or for Father's Day on Sunday. So if you have any cookout plans, again, you couldn't ask for better weather. Low humidity, plenty of sunshine, and 70s. But this will come to an end by next week. Now, the graphic behind me I'm showing you is what's called atmospheric thickness, how we use, one of the tools we use to measure certain things in the atmosphere, like how warm it's going to get. And notice a lot of dark reds in the northeast. And notice the bullseye pretty much right over the Utica region. And this indicates that the atmosphere is thicker than usual. And that also means the thicker the atmosphere, the warmer it is. And that's going to be the case not only for one model we have, but our second long-range model also indicates this. So we've got more data coming in indicating that we're going to see a heat wave next week. And this may last longer than just maybe a day or two, extending into the first days of summer possibly. And so on our Skycast, temperatures in the 70s for now, a few passing clouds, lows tonight falling down into the 50s. And then by tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, rising up into the upper 60s, low 70s, and of course completely dry weather. Then overnight lows tomorrow night falling down into the 40s, some spots maybe upper 30s in the highest elevations, but then we're back up into the 70s as we head into Sunday. But again, today 76 the high, of course some spots approaching near 80, partly cloudy tonight, a low 55 with mostly clear skies. 7-day forecast. Beautiful Father's Day weekend, warming up Monday, and then here comes the heat. First day of summer, I believe, is on Thursday. Yes, it is. So first day of summer on Thursday, and how about that to start out summer? Wow, very hot. 90s, feels like temperatures approaching the upper 90s. So very hot and humid. Those of you who work outside, grab some extra water. And those who have health concerns, definitely make sure those ACs are in.
Yeah, definitely be the big story next week, that's for sure.
Yes, very warm.
Eric, thanks. Well, are you in the know on the latest wedding trend?
Let's find out what the weather's going to be for the weekend. Oh, you got to be excited. It's going to be awesome this week.
Yeah, we have fantastic weather. Make the most of it because we've got some hot weather coming up here as we head into next week.
Okay, so what's this? Because this is so cool.
Amazing clouds. This picture from Amy Rasmussen. Undulata asperatus, that's the name of this cloud.
I couldn't say that if you wanted me to.
It's basically, these are roll clouds. They happen when the air is rising in the middle part of the atmosphere, but they're harmless.
And this happened today, right?
This happened today.
Very cool.
During the afternoon time, a pretty neat sight in the sky. Again, not really producing a whole lot of weather. As we get into the warmer season, a reminder, you're going to want to make sure your ceiling fan switches over to summer mode. You want it to turn counterclockwise. That pushes the air down and cools you off, as opposed to winter mode when the fan is spinning clockwise. It sucks the air upwards, and it helps to help keep the house warm. There is a setting on your fan. Some of them use remotes. Some of them have a switch. You're going to have to do a little bit more homework to figure that out. Our current temperature, 62 degrees, clear skies, and we're expecting the weather to cool off tonight. The skies will remain clear. Live look at the Airfield Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We're down into the low 50s tonight. Beautiful weekend ahead, but it's getting hot next week. A heat wave is ahead. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Yesterday's accident.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Welcome back. We're tracking a lovely start to the weekend. It's looking dry out there tonight. We've been watching some thunderstorms passing to the south. Actually, some severe weather today in downstate New York and into eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That system is heading out. That brought us the hot weather yesterday. We're going to see high pressure build in over the weekend, and it's going to be very different. Current temperature is 62 degrees. A lovely weekend ahead. Plenty of sunshine. A 5-star weekend. It really doesn't get much better than this. If you like comfortable temperatures, this is a great weekend for you. Temperatures in the 70s Saturday, mid to upper 70s on Father's Day. It's chilly Saturday night. A lot of places fall into the 40s. The air conditioner will come in handy as we head into next week. I think Monday is the day where you're going to start to really need it as temperatures climb into the upper 80s. You've got some pretty serious heat on the way. In fact, we could be breaking some daily high temperature records, especially Wednesday and Thursday. The forecast calls for temperatures in the mid-90s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday's high temperature forecasted high of 95 will get close to the record, but I think we'll be able to break the record on Wednesday and Thursday. As we look at the bigger picture, we've got high pressure building in, giving us a lovely weekend. But as this heads to the east, it's going to turn the wind into the south, and that's when things will start to change. Tonight, clear skies, overnight lows drop down into the low 50s. Beautiful Saturday, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the low 70s. Clear skies Saturday night. Overnight lows drop down into the 40s, so it is going to be a chilly start to Sunday, but a beautiful Sunday afternoon for Father's Day. Great weather to get out and enjoy. Temperatures climb into the mid-70s. Things change next week. That same high-pressure system that gives us a lovely weekend will entrench itself in the Northeast and produce a heat dome, which means we get into some high summer heat and humidity in an extended period of time as we head into next week. Mostly clear tonight, low of 52. Tomorrow, beautiful day, comfortable, sunshine, temperatures in the low 70s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. 88 on Monday. It gets hot Tuesday. 95 for the high. Slight chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Wednesday's high 96, 94 on Thursday. Those 3 days, alert days due to high heat and humidity. It still looks pretty warm on Friday, 89 degrees. No sign of when this heat breaks, but we will keep you posted. We'll be right back.